that's the problem we're going with, right? All the other things, you can grow into that and you can eventually get there with your brand, but you wanna start with a profitable problem that people are willing to pay you for right now. Maybe you have big aspirations of being like a Tony Robbins or an Oprah type person. Start by narrowing it down on the one thing that people are asking you about constantly. Hey, CourtneyLSanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I do it because I'm passionate about helping you turn your success story into a 6- or 7-figure online brand. And I feel like with me saying this, even my own family is starting to get the message and they're starting to hit me up asking how they can do that, how they can turn their success stories into 6- or 7-figure brands. And so the other day I actually had a Zoom coaching call with my nephew who is interested in building his own personal brand and coming up with some coaching products and some coaching programs, which I'm really excited about. And in the midst of just me telling him what he needed to do for his own skill set, I was like, you know what? This would be a great video to teach people exactly what you need to do in order to get your first paying client from scratch. So in this video, I'm gonna take you through the exact same process that I took my own nephew through literally just the other night on Zoom. Really excited about the progress that he's making. I have no doubt that he's gonna have his first paying client very, very soon. And if you follow these steps, you're gonna have your first paying client as well. And so with that, let's get into it. All right, the first thing you need to do in order to get your first paying client, if you're starting from scratch, is you need to pick a profitable problem to solve. I cannot stress this enough, but this is something that so many people struggle with because they have dreams and aspirations ultimately of where they want to go in their brand and in their coaching, but they're scared to start it where it is right now. So for my nephew, for example, he has dreams and aspirations of becoming a name in leadership, coaching, and Christian faith and football. You know, Tim Tebow is one of his heroes. And so he had all these ideas about what he eventually wanted to do, but in speaking with him and thinking about the problem that he could solve that people would be willing to pay for now, I was really surprised to learn. It took me a while because he didn't tell me this, but he was like, yeah, someone approached me and they asked me if I could do coaching for their student athlete and quarterback coaching because he was a really successful quarterback in college football. And I was like, that's the problem we're going with, right? All the other things, you can grow into that and you can eventually get there with your brand, but you wanna start with a profitable problem that people are willing to pay you for right now. And so for him, it was this idea of being able to coach student athletes and help them develop in their quarterback skills. But for you, think about what are the skills that you have that people ask you about all the time, that you're really good at, that maybe people have even offered to pay for, but you keep brushing it to the side because maybe you have big aspirations of being like a Tony Robbins or an Oprah type person and you want to help everybody with their whole life. And so you keep getting stuck on these super vague niches when really you should start by narrowing it down on the one thing that people are asking you about constantly. So focus on picking a profitable problem to start. What is something that people can pay you for now, and then build your brand from there. Okay, once you pick a actual profitable problem, then you want to go ahead and start to develop your framework. So actually just the other night with my nephew, once we zeroed in on this, like, okay, you're gonna do quarterback coaching, then we started to zero in on what does your particular process look like. And so part of it was a mix of his story and how he got to the place where he was in his own football career of being a successful quarterback, but then also what he knows based on his experience in the game and just his general knowledge. We ended up looking at all the different things that he could teach someone and ordered them and organized them in a particular framework that he could take someone through. And so this is really important because oftentimes when you are looking for your first paying client, we make the mistake of thinking that we can just tell that client, oh, I can help you get XYZ result and let's do, I don't know, 4 coaching sessions, 4 hour-long coaching sessions, right? We end up selling the time, but not the actual framework. And so you want to get clear on what your framework is, and that's actually what you're gonna sell. And the time is just a function of how long it's gonna take you to get through that framework. So we wanna get away from individual sessions or even 4 sessions for an hour or 6 sessions of whatever, and more so, this is this framework, it's 6 steps, I'm gonna cover it with you in 6 weeks, and this is what I'm providing you. So make sure you find your framework. All right, the third thing you need to do if you want to find your first paying client, if you're starting from scratch, is you need to then create your content. So we picked his problem, we figured out what his framework was. Once we were clear on what his framework was, we were able to come up with different content ideas that he can start posting on Instagram, on TikTok, or whatever platforms he needs to be on in order order to reach his target market. And so it's going to be the same for you. Your framework is actually really important because that's going to inspire little snippets that you can put out there and different topics that you can talk about as it relates to what it is that you do and what your framework is. And so once you're clear on those topics, now you know the type of videos that you should be creating on YouTube, or the type of reels that you should be creating on Instagram or TikToks, or even articles that you could be writing on LinkedIn, depending on whatever platform you feel you need to be on. So once you have picked your problem and you have developed your framework, now it's time to start creating some content. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. Are you working on getting your first client? Share in the comments below. All right, once you've come up with your content, now it's time to start packaging your program. And really, you can do this at the same time that you're creating your content, because you can get to this point after actually you have figured out your framework, right? So once you know what your framework is, on one side, you can start coming up with the free content that you're gonna post on social media. And then on the other side, you can start packaging that up into your actual coaching program. So again, you wanna start with the framework first. You don't start with coaching sessions or so many hours or so many weeks first. You start with the framework, and then once you know the framework, how long it's gonna take somebody to get the result, what kind of work do they need to do, what kind of accountability are they gonna need from you. From there, you can design a coaching package that is uniquely designed to get them the result. So if you know that it took you 8 weeks to get to your end result, but maybe you did it a little faster and you wanna give your client more time, then you might think, okay, I'm gonna come up with a 10-week program or even a 12-week program. Think about how busy your client is. Does it make sense to meet every week? Should you be meeting every month? Should you be meeting every day? Should it be a daily text message or voice note or something? So again, think about what is it gonna take to get that person a result, and then come up with a package that supports them in that. All right, after you've come up with your content and you've come up with a package, now it's time to build your brand. And this is where you think about your visuals. What do you want your brand to look like? And not just what should it look like from the standpoint of, oh, does it look professional? Is it a nice logo? Are you using good colors? But is it something that is really reflective of you and what you actually bring to the table? So I actually go over this in depth in my program, the Next Big Name Bootcamp, where we show you how to create a competition-proof brand simply by getting clear on who you are and developing programs and courses and creating a brand that nobody can compete with you on, because people have to get it from you. And so I like to think that I've done this with my brand, making it very unique and standing out and coming up with my own unique frameworks. And so I show you how to create the exact same things. And so at this point, you want to build a brand that now supports all the different things that you've come up with up until this point. You know the problem that you're solving, you know what your frameworks are, you know what type of content you want to be putting on social media, you know what your coaching packages should look like. Now it's time to brand it all and visually make it look like something. Okay, once you have your brand built, then you can start to set up your systems. And by systems, I mean the functional back-end tech that you need in order to attract clients. So, what type of email marketing software are you gonna be using? Are you gonna allow people to book, consultations with you on a calendar? What type of calendar software are you gonna be using? Which social media platforms are you gonna be promoting your consultation calls on? Do you have it hooked up in the bio? All these different pieces have to be connected. Now it's time to set up the systems, because the next step, which we're gonna get into in just a second, is what you're gonna be using to actually generate leads and then get that first client. So you wanna make sure that your systems are set up in advance so that when you are getting on the phone with people, you can actually close them on the phone. Or if people are clicking, the link in your bio and they're going to your website because they wanna join a course or something that you have to offer, that all of those things are available, everything works. When they go to enter in their credit card, it's not gonna give them an error message. You wanna make sure that all those systems on the back end are set up ahead of time. Okay, so now once you have everything set up, all you need to do now is actually start publishing content and inviting people into actual conversation. So you would have created that content in advance. Now it's time to publish it. And over time, you creating all of that content and publishing all of that content is going to get people reaching out to you. Maybe they'll start sending you DMs. Maybe they'll start getting in your system, signing up for your email list, booking consultation calls with you. And now it's just simply time to have conversations with everyone. So hopefully you know how to have sales conversations. In fact, I have a video all about the sales process that I use and the sales template that I use, which you can check out via the links below or on the screen or wherever it shows up. But now is all about conversation. So put that content out in the world and start inviting people to have consultations with you and conversations with you so that ultimately you can close them as a client. All right, thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you're going to love my brand new coaching program, the Next Big Name Bootcamp, which shows you how to build a competition-proof brand from A to Z. And we do beyond just your typical branding. This isn't about logos. This is so deep, and it's really about creating a competition-proof positioning. Truly how to go from unknown to the next big name in your niche by creating a niche that only you can operate in. So if you don't just want to attract clients, but you truly want to be the next big name in your niche, I peel back the curtain and share all of my secrets. Clients are getting great results in this program. We have people who are joining and are already clearing 5 figures right within the first 30 days. So if you want to see more about their testimonials, learn more about the program, and apply if it's something that is of interest to you, click the link below to do so. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. If you loved it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want even more where this came from, make sure you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show. And if you can't wait until my next podcast episode or my next YouTube video, make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's CourtneyLSanders on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.